Been a bit of a busy day, huh? We've had the recording. We've just come out of a recording, and we've finished with news, or rather, an entire trailer for Snowblind.
Yeah, here we go. Snowblind Slayer. Do you want me to start? Should we just start watching it and talking about it? How would you like to handle this?
I mean, we've each watched it individually once. We couldn't help ourselves, but yeah, I think let's just watch the trailer and we can sort of discuss it. Let's go into it, see what we can find. Because I mean, on the first watch through, there were some pretty cool little things that we noticed, and I mean, maybe there's more we've missed. So let's have a look.
Yeah, and we haven't discussed this at all, just for our listeners that are tuning in. So I have no idea what Yanni thinks of this, and he has no idea what I think of this. So it's kind of
all I heard when he was watching it was "Whoa, oh, cool," and basically the same from me.
All right, you ready?
Let's go.
This is Mortal Kombat Conquest vibes.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to pause it right there. Firstly, the art style has completely changed from the previous two movies.
Yeah, somebody else had mentioned that also when they saw the first initial picture that came out, that the art style was different, and I really hadn't paid much attention to it until you said that. But yeah, this is a very different. It's not that anime like WB like they do with their DC heroes and stuff like that. It's not that style.
Well, actually, that's another thing. I really like the DC animated, the DC animation, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I don't feel that the Mortal Kombat movies were of similar styles. I felt they were completely different. So, as cool as much as I like the movies, apart from the whole ending tour of the second movie, the style itself never really pulled me in. This is much cooler. I really like it. Like, even just look at the scene now that we have in front of us. So you see, who I'm assuming is Kenshi, and there's a lot of clarity to his image, right? But then if you look at the background, look at the roofs, the what do you call them? The what's the overhang, basically?
The shingles?
Sure.
Or the
never heard
the
that
canopies.
Word. Yeah, there you go, the canopies. So compare them to the actual people in the shot. Look at the fruits, for example.
Yeah, it's like a digital composite made of images or something like that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But this is pretty cool. I like this style already. Shall we continue?
So, I mentioned earlier, it's very Conquest reminiscent, this town is so far. And then here in a second, we've already seen Ferrator and Cabal. So, like,
I've rewinded us, actually, so I didn't realize because I was pausing it. But is Ferrator and Cabal turn up right now as well?
Yeah. So they're both of them are about to show up in this trailer, and that kind of sets the pace for this world that we're in. Like, and you can already tell that, you're thinking, okay, maybe this is MKX, but then, but Kenshi's got eyes. So the timeline's already different.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's keep going.
I mean, even just playing off of what you just said, you see Ferrator and you imagine MKX, but then, as you said, the Kenshi thing, he's got eyes. But on top of that, Cabal was a revenant in MKX at this point in the story, if you were to compare this to that Outworld section. But yeah, let's continue a little bit.
Okay. Who's that?
Cobra, Kira, and No Face.
Cobra's so different. I mean, they're all.
He's not a ripoff anymore. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but what in the world? Where's my? What is it, Ryu? I'm not a big Street Fighter guy, so.
I've got him on the screen for you now.
What in the world? Who is this guy?
He's got the same sort of facial features, and the hair as well is kind of similar.
Kind of. I mean, he's still got that baby face, but he looks like he plays for, like, Aerosmith now or something,
I just almost lost my headset. Actually, I'm curious about Cabal. He is looking buff.
Yeah, he is. And he reminds me of, like, an Insane Clown Posse juggalo, I don't know why, but this particular art style for him, it's different.
The hair is what catches my eye, actually. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
It's like white dreadlocks.
Yeah. So I mean, these designs are very different than what we're used to.
Well, we say that, but the
and
mask looks very MK11.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling about this yet. But he's just,
Cabal, like the hook swords, they look awesome. Look at that.
yeah, the hook swords are cool. They're very cool looking.
And then we've got our, Kira, or Blood Rain, who looks very different as well.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I didn't really pay much attention to her the first time I watched this, but she does look very different. And all of these characters give me a very Mad Max vibe. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Even the way they came in, the entrance.
Yeah, right.
And I'm just imagining somebody, witness me!
So, I mean, this is very post-apocalyptic, and it kind of makes me wonder what happened after Battle of the Realms.
Or if it's even related.
Point. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's supposed to be further down the road. Do you have the synopsis available?
Yes, I do. Kano is hell-bent on taking over Earthrealm, viciously attacking town after town with the aid of 3 cold-blooded black dragon mercenaries. It says 3, but I see a lot more based on what we just saw. Those who don't submit are annihilated. One young man won't bend the knee to Kano, Kenshi.
It looks like they're not even trying to make them submit. They're just like, surprise, mother... And then they're just destroying the whole town. And then when they're done, they're like, okay, who submits? And everybody's bleeding out. They're like, I do if I can get medical attention.
I'm really like hung up on this Kira redesign. It's very different. Very different. Like the hair, shaved sides, and I'm assuming back of the head. She's still got the signature sort of... the daggers. I think they were called butterfly knives in Armageddon, was it?
Mm-hmm.
But she looks so different. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I liked her initial design, but there's no hiding the fact that she was clearly Blood Rain inspired. So it's a good idea to give her something different.
You know, I'm surprised that you don't mind this, because you're such a huge 3D era fan that I would kind of expect you to be like, they've changed my characters, hashtag not my Kira. But like, but you know, I myself don't mind him. I think the 3D era could use some redesigns, and this is obviously a very different world than Armageddon was. So like, you know, give them the Thunderdome treatment. That's fine with me. But I am surprised to hear you say that.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, Mortal Kombat has never had, the most consistent sort of facial designs. The faces always change from game to game. So that's not a big surprise. The only real surprise here for me is, I suppose, her hair, which again can change quite often, and her outfit, which again changes pretty often. So no, I don't have much of an issue. Would I have preferred to see a more traditional Kira? Yes, I think so. But this is still pretty cool, and as you said, 3D era fan, so I'm just happy we're getting any 3D era characters at this point.
Yeah, true.
Shall we continue?
Yeah, let's keep going.
Actually, no, sorry. I say shall we continue, and then we just got No Face. Is that No Face? Because if that's No Face, what?
Okay, I don't remember No Face. He was in Armageddon, is that right? Or was he in
Deception 2? No. He was in Special Forces.
Oh, okay. That's why I could not.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Hold on, I need to see an old picture of him, because I didn't play Special Forces enough. Yeah, I'm assuming that is him.
I'm only assuming it's him.
Yeah, he's got gas tanks on him, and he's got no face, so...
the thing that stands out to me is that his face is very, for lack of a better word, anonymous, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't seem like there's any really defining feature to his face, apart from the fact that there is no defining feature. You know, mm-hmm. He's got ears, clearly, but the nose seems to kind of be, I don't know, maybe it's the angle, but it doesn't seem like he has a nose, etc., you know? So I mean, immediately, just when I saw this, I was like, No Face? So, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. That's probably No Face. Have you ever seen any, like, original concept art for him? Because I'm curious how
I mean,
similar that is.
well, I remember in Special Forces, he clearly no hair, no nose, no ears, etc. But he was very pale, and I just remember that he had dynamite on him, basically. Like he had, and then he had the flamethrower. So that to me, like those look like fuel canisters.
Yeah.
So
and there's even
I'm assuming that's No Face.
There's a tube kind of going out to his hand too, so I'm assuming he's probably holding a flamethrower like he was in Special Forces.
Yeah. And the biggest hint is right behind him there's an explosion.
It would make a lot of sense that this is No Face because of the fact that
he has no face.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Actually, I completely forgot what I was going to say. All right, let's keep going.
Cool. Kano is looking so different.
Okay. Is that Shang Tsung?
King Kano.
Yeah, King Kano. This is King
Shang Tsung.
So Shang Tsung's working for King Kano, it seems. Like,
yes.
So Earthrealm won Mortal Kombat in the last movie, I'm assuming, and everything's gone to shit, and Shang Tsung's back in the Earthrealm and working for Kano, who is this crazy cybernetic, like, buff Jackman. Like, yeah, what is going on, Yani?
And he has a blade for a hand.
He does. He's more machine than human. I don't know what I think about this. I mean, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna watch it. I think it makes sense to sort of give Kano further cybernetic enhancements. Mm-hmm. He always had the cybernetic eye. Then we got the sort of heart. Now, body.
Yeah, it's an evolution of the character. I could see that.
Yeah, there's just one thing that doesn't make sense to me.
Uh-huh.
He has a white beard, a white mustache, and ginger hair.
Hey, also, didn't Kano die in Scorpion's Revenge?
I think you're right. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Did Sonya kill him?
I believe so. I think it was when, like, her and Johnny Cage teamed up. I don't know. I don't remember.
But I'm pretty sure Sonya kills him.
I thought so too. In that lair with all the monsters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, Shang Tsung is an interesting one here too, actually.
Yeah.
Firstly, following Kano.
And he's back to
secondly, looking very old.
Yeah, I love it. I've always loved the Mortal Kombat 1 design look of Shang Tsung, like the whole inspired by Big Trouble in Little China kind of thing. And so I think it's cool to see him like that again.
All right, well, let's move forward and see if we can get any more understanding of what's going on with King Kano. What did that say?
Kenshi.
We and see?
Wield me and see. we and
oh!
see. We and
I couldn't hear it.
Kenshi,
it didn't make sense to me.
Kenshi has to pee down the well in order to see again. That's where his powers arise from.
I clearly watch everything with subtitles. No, but that's good. Remember, we were worried about Kenshi's sort of blinding origin story.
Yeah.
And it seems to be very, very true to his actual original story.
So what I think is interesting is we see Sub-Zero holding Kenshi back while Kenshi can still see. So does that mean that...
Well, can see.
Does that mean that at some point Sub-Zero is training Kenshi before he goes blind and gets his powers? Like maybe he's... a member or a student of Sub-Zero?
Possibly, although I don't see Kenshi being a member of the Lin Kuei.
Right.
Or, just being a student like that. To me, it seems that Sub-Zero has been out of the fight, judging by how he looks.
Yeah, and so maybe Sub-Zero's just stepping in and sees like this cocky Kenshi seeing person, and it's like, stay back, don't do it.
Kenshi, who can see, is there, and he's probably in this city. Was it city? And the Black Dragon are invading, and he wants to take them on. Realizes he doesn't have the power, goes to get the sword, maybe, and that's when he gets blinded.
Well, yeah, and so does that get rid of the whole Shang Tsung story of him tricking Kenshi to get the sword and all that?
I don't think it gets rid of it. If anything, Shang Tsung is here, right? So maybe he still does. It could be Shang Tsung sort of double-crossing both Kano and Kenshi.
That'd be cool. I would like to see that, if that's how it happens. I feel like Shang Tsung's gonna be an underling, though, in this movie.
Yeah, but knowing Shang Tsung, he's a snake. Yeah, right?
Yeah. If we see the snake, I'm gonna be excited. Like, if it's a good Shang Tsung story. I mean, that's why everybody loved Aftermath, because that Shang Tsung story was
just perfect.
On point. Yeah.
That chunky Sub-Zero. Oh, there. Just that shot of Sub. Wow.
Okay. So this shot of Sub-Zero is not the Sub-Zero we're dealing with. So I think we're going to get a connection story, like in between Battle of the Realms and Snowblind, like a little tiny clip, and you're going to see Sub-Zero in his prime before it transitions into the current state of affairs.
I think it'll be both.
Yeah. Oh, wait, what do you mean, both?
Like, this clip specifically could be what you're saying, but it could also be after he's trained Kenshi.
Oh, you think he's going to put the suit back on and be slimmed down? You know, that belt does a wonder on the curves.
Speaking of the belt, I mean, the entire outfit.
That's cool.
It's really cool. It's MK11. I'm pretty sure that's MK11 Sub-Zero, but with slight changes, which make it look way better than MK11 Sub.
I don't know where this design came from, but I love it. It's a badass Sub-Zero.
I mean, okay, look at the top of his hood, I suppose. Do you see how there's little bits of, like it kind of
ears?
Yeah, kind of teeny little things, right? That reminds me of the helm he's wearing in his primary outfit in MK11.
The outfit itself kind of reminds me of like Mortal Kombat 2 Raiden. But yeah. I think we've talked a little too much about his clothes. Let's keep going, Yanni.
I've just looked at now, by the way. It does seem to be a take on MK11 Sub-Zero outfit, but slight changes. Anyway, yes, design is important to me. All right, let's go.
Her souls are mine. Without that sword, you're nothing.
There he is. There's our boy Tremor. Looking boss.
Okay. Well, wait, even before Tremor, let's go back. We had Shang Tsung taking all the souls out of that soul well. So, yeah, I think you're right. We are getting the snake story of Shang Tsung doing his thing, and that's cool. We might even get to see a Mortal Kombat 2 Shang Tsung, like a younger Shang Tsung again.
Well, I think we, if I remember, because like I said, I just watched it quickly once. I'm pretty sure we do see a younger Shang later in the trailer. So
do we? Okay.
Let's continue and see if we do get that.
Should we talk about
Tremor? Yes, we should.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we said in the last episode, or our Toasty Tuesday that we just had, that, you know, Tremor's going to be in this movie, and as I said then, I am super excited. And this version of Tremor, you know, it's still Tremor.
That molten variation from MKX.
Right. So I'm super excited to see him in another medium besides what we got in MKX. His
outfit. His outfit is very MKX inspired here. It does look very similar, but I feel like they've taken a little bit of liberty with. I mean, he looks a lot more buff, as many of the characters seem to be in this movie, basically, or really in Legends as a whole. They've been using MKX outfits, but with some slight variations, if I remember correctly. And I mean, Tremor is looking very boss, but what is really cool to me is the ability that he shows next here.
Well, also, I don't know if you noticed when he was standing there, it looked like he had kanji for fire on his chest. I don't know if that was just a design choice when they were making the art of him, or that's what it looks like. I mean, it's a little bit different. There's a couple of dots missing, or strokes missing, but yeah, it looks like it could be there, right there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I don't know if it
That's
might not be on purpose.
That's a good
It
catch.
might just be an angle, or he might have fire written across his chest. Would be kind of cool, I think.
That is actually really cool, if that is the case. So we've got the metallic variation for Tremor. He's got some really cool spikes coming up. We've got the sort of Sento glowing. Kenshi showing that he's very acrobatic. Is he blind in this little part that we just saw?
I think so.
Yes, he is blind. Dropping into the Black Dragon's lair.
Mm-hmm.
Kano with his ginger mohawk. And there it is, young Shang Tsung.
Yeah, you're right. Yep, that's cool.
That is really cool.
I love Shang Tsung and everything. So I don't care that the story is completely different than the games at this. Like, I mean, we kind of expected some differences from our last two movies, but this one is so far left field. But I don't mind because I got Tremor and I got young Shang Tsung doing his thing. So
see, everybody's not like. Well, everybody. I'm seeing a lot of negativity regarding the fact that the story seems to have been changed quite a lot, and I don't understand why. The games themselves are a different medium, in my opinion. It's a different sort of platform, and this just means we get more animated Mortal Kombat content with different stories, so we can see, our characters that we love, or characters we haven't seen in a really long time, get to show a new facet of their character. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think the argument is, though, that everybody wants to see... people want the ability to take something they love and show their friends. And if you take Mortal Kombat, you put it into a different medium like animation or movies, you can call up your friends and say, hey, come in, check out Mortal Kombat. I really like Mortal Kombat, the video game. You love movies. Let's share in that together. But then you're taking them to see, something like this, and you're like, well, this isn't exactly Mortal Kombat, and you get those friends afterwards that are like, oh my gosh, I love King Kano, let me come over and play King Kano, and you're like, that's not really a thing in the video game universe. So I understand the criticism. Yeah, I kind of lean that way a lot of times, but I am super excited for more Mortal Kombat content no matter what, so let's do this.
Well, yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from with that, and I also agree. It does seem that they're heading down the whole DC, multiverse kind of thing, and that's just a sort of direction that probably stems from the fact that everything's inspired by going in the line that comics do nowadays. One comic can be a standalone sort of story in a different universe, etc. And, considering Mortal Kombat and DC are under the WB banner, that makes a lot of sense for Mortal Kombat to take inspiration from that. Now, I do agree with you. I would prefer it to be more accurate to the original story. But at this point, the other argument is that Mortal Kombat 9, 10, 11 have already strayed so far, in my opinion, from the original eras, that at this point it's like they can just give us whatever story, because we will always have that original story, and that to me in a way kind of sucks too, because I miss that original era, the OG era, the 3D era. Those were the two. The 3D era was my favorite. I don't think we're gonna get that again, but this is the closest thing I'm getting to that, so that's why I'm just so happy to be getting this, even if there's slight changes.
The whole argument of or the whole inclusion of multiverses and things like comic books and movies, Star Trek, even things like that, it's basically a way for writers to not have to think canonically, and that's why fans don't like it, because fans get invested in this. I mean, like we talked about with Sean, Catherine, Derek, this is what we're super into, and we want things to be portrayed in a way that we know it to be, rather than making up stories that go against the canon. And so that's why so many fans have issues with these sort of projects. But on our previous episode about Scorpion's Revenge, where we interviewed the writer for Mortal Kombat Legends, we kind of sat down and talked to
Jeremy
him.
Adams.
Yeah, and so talking with Jeremy, he states that he made it clear on the episodes how much he loves Mortal Kombat and how much he wants to bring these characters to life, but at the end of the day, he has a story to tell, and he's using the characters, he's using the lore as he knows it, but he's tweaking it to tell his stories. And that's why I personally don't mind the changes in Legends, because they're good stories. Even if we don't like everything that happens in the story, like people were upset in Scorpion's Revenge that Liu Kang isn't the one that killed Goro, but this is a new story, and he still used the characters in the way that they're meant to be used. He just told a different story with them.
Yes, yeah. And as you said, like he did say that he loves the lore, he loves Mortal Kombat. And honestly, even though there are tweaks to the story, I definitely see that he loves the story of Mortal Kombat, just purely because of the fact that, firstly, he's giving us 3D era characters. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's something that we've not been getting from the actual studio up until now, from the game studio.
Right.
Okay, Fujin, right? But on top of that, to go so far back, past the 3D era, or pre the 3D era, to No Face. Jeremy Adams put his sanity on the line to play Mortal Kombat Special Forces. And gave us a character from that game.
With No Face.
That says it all.
I was going to say, he could have basically made No Face look however he wants, because the graphics in Special Forces were so far behind what they are today. It's like a blur of a character, some polygons, and you're like, oh, well, he's called No Face, so I guess he has no face. He could be wearing a mask for all I know. And yeah, conceptually, they could have done whatever.
Well, we've actually been paused on here for a little bit, so let's move forward.
All right.
Good.
Time to die.
There, Aaron Black.
Aaron Black.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
He's here. And there is nothing you can do to
This
stop
is why
him.
I said it could be from now, regarding Sub-Zero.
No, this is a bait and switch.
So
yeah, I think they're
maybe.
they're showing you. I mean, I think Sub-Zero is going to come and rescue Kenshi, but I think all these clips you're seeing of the Sub-Zero in his outfit, that's from the past. Let's talk about this scene with Sub-Zero. Maybe do you want to talk about Aaron Black?
Yes. Well, okay. With regards to Aaron Black, it's just I'm shocked that Aaron Black is here, but at the same time, it kind of makes sense because the whole is he immortal or whatever thing, and Shang Tsung's here as well. So Shang Tsung's supposed to be the reason for that. It's interesting to see that he's here, especially when what we spoke about on the last episode, we didn't have any idea of Aaron actually making it in, right. And that's the same can be said for Ferritor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and characters like Aaron Black, studios seem to love him, and there's a lot of fans that love him too. But I don't know why the studios really love Aaron Black. I think
Cowboys.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get Aaron Black in the next live action movie also, because for some reason people just want to convey that imagery.
I'm just moving along through the trailer right now to see that shot of all the characters. Where is it? Yes, here. So, we've got Kira.
Good catch.
We've got Cabal. We've got Ferritor, Kano, Dramin.
Yeah.
Dramin.
That's cool.
Dramin. that to me is wow. It's
yeah.
I personally never cared too much for Dramin as a character. Like, he was cool. He wasn't my style of character, but he was a cool character.
Him.
Yeah, exactly. But to see him here, that's really cool to me. Now, I
Right.
think I've seen some comments online while we were setting up saying that Quan Chi was in this trailer. I have a feeling that they think that No Face in the background there next to Drummond was Quan Chi. I think that's No Face. I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah,
No
I
Face, not Quan Chi.
definitely haven't seen Quan Chi in this at all. And Quan
Unless
Chi's
we've
head
missed
got
him.
ripped off. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, this is the sequel, Scorpion's Revenge. I mean, Kano's back, yeah, but Quan Chi's head got ripped off.
Yeah, but Kano
So-
possibly died too. We're not sure that. And it's Mortal Kombat, remember. Anyone comes back.
Yeah,
Especially Quan Chi,
exactly.
who would have gone to the Nether Realm. So, I don't know. Maybe
I
we're
didn't
just
know
missing
that.
it.
Yeah, so if you know where Quan Chi's at, if he isn't here, leave a comment to what you think, because I'm in the video. Leave a comment for us, because I want to find Quan Chi. Yeah, I haven't seen him.
I also
don't think
find
he's
it
here.
interesting that Kenshi is chained up to an X.
Like X-Men.
I was going to go with more Mortal Kombat X, but sure, yeah, X-Men. So let's talk about that Sub-Zero scene, the one which you
Yes.
are most likely correctly saying is a bait and switch, because this area looks nothing like the city that they're supposed to be in. This is clearly from a big city, you know.
And also, everybody's infected with something. Did
Yes,
you
this
notice
looks
that? It's like
very zombie-like.
zombie people. Yeah. And who is that one zombie creature is holding?
A Lin Kuei member. You can see the Lin Kuei
Is it?
sigil on his waist.
So, okay, yeah. So I think this is in the past. I think it's kind of setting up the story, and Sub-Zero exhausted himself, dissipating all of his energy or something to, get us to where we're at in the story, this post-apocalyptic wasteland.
Well, let's take this further, because we've noticed that the one being held up is a Lin Kuei member. All the people on the ground seem to be Lin Kuei members. If you look at them, they're all wearing either blue armor or have hoods and masks. So this could actually be where Sub-Zero lost his faith in just everything, because the Lin Kuei were wiped out, apart from him.
Again. Yeah.
Yeah, again.
You know, something else too, it's possible, I'm not saying this is the case, but it is possible these are revenants. Like maybe
Yes.
this is this universe's version of revenants, and they've all come out of the grave and come out from Netherworld or Netherrealm and are infecting everybody or something. I don't
But
know.
maybe they're not infecting, because I don't see them eating. I see them ripping guts out. If you here, look.
True.
Let me play the scene. Look on the left. Did you see how we just threw the guts away?
I mean, yeah, that's a waste of some good guts. But yeah, you're
So,
right.
yeah.
So, all right. So, what are your thoughts? I mean, are you excited for this?
I'm excited. It's more Mortal Kombat content. I personally really like animated content. I think that that's one of the best ways to be able to tell the Mortal Kombat story, because of it would have a lesser budget that's needed for a live action sort of thing. They can get things to be more accurate. Now, somebody can laugh at that by saying, "Yeah, well, it doesn't look accurate to the lore at all." Fair enough. But it does, in a way, look accurate as well, because firstly, we're getting all these characters who make sense to be with Kano at this point in time, aside from, you could argue, maybe Ferrator and Shang Tsung. But, Aaron Black, Cabal, Kira, Cobra, Tremor, they were all with the Black Dragon and with Kano.
Yeah.
Now, this makes sense lore-wise. The outfits themselves, maybe you could argue that Cobra's doesn't look super accurate. I mean, you can argue it. It doesn't look accurate at all. But to be fair, do we want an accurate Cobra at this point in time?
I think you'd have an issue with the Street Fighter creators if you made it accurate Cobra and put them on screen. I mean, I'm surprised Midway got away with it the way they did back in the day.
Yeah, it really did. But I don't know. I'm excited. I think it's going to be fun. I think that for lore fans, it's going to be a sort of toss-up between it not being completely accurate accurate at all to what we know and love about the series, but at the same time, the characters could still be accurate to their character, if that makes sense. Do you
Right.
get what I'm trying to say?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that's probably going to be the case, that they look different, but they're going to be the same characters.
What do you think, though? Are you excited?
I am. I'm always excited with Mortal Kombat content, and the whole Mortal Kombat Legends stuff. What I've been really excited about it is that they are telling these individual stories. And we've said before, this is how Mortal Kombat needs to be portrayed, is through individual stories, because each character has so much lore behind them. You can make a whole series or a whole movie about one character, and it would be worth watching. So I'm excited for that. The setting, I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, why are we changing things so much? But at the end of the day, they're telling Kenshi's story, and that's cool. Like, Kenshi's story needs to be told. He is a character that has gotten so much fandom from being barely included in the games, and to the point where he's officially part of the lore and things like that now. So yeah, I'm excited for the movie. But I have my things that hold me back from it, but at the same time, it's Mortal Kombat. More Mortal Kombat, please. keep making it, and exactly. I'm going to keep watching it. Yeah.
More Mortal Kombat, more 3D era, more characters we haven't seen in a really, really, really long time. And you say that Kenshi has been, hasn't been in many games. Actually, you'd be surprised. He appeared in Deadly Alliance, continued into Deception, continued into Armageddon, skipped DC, then came back in 9 as DLC, and then again in X. And to be fair, not playable in 11, but still made an appearance in the crypt. He is Ed Boon's second favorite character. And he, since his creation, has actually had quite a bit of screen time. So it's good to see that his story is being focused on in a way which I feel is different to the story that we got for him in X, where it was more about his son and him actually getting some focus instead. And as we said, with a sort of accurate sort of origin story. Maybe not completely accurate with the whole Sub-Zero training thing. He shouldn't be so young compared to Sub-Zero. But he's still going and getting the Sword of Sento, getting blinded by all the souls in the cave, etc., right?
Yeah, the thing is, for me, the only thing that I'm kind of sad about is that I feel like the way the story is going in the Legends universe, we're never going to see Takeda on screen. And, if that means I don't get to see the rest of the Combat Kids, then it's a sacrifice.
I was just going to say. Like, I'm so sad we might not get to see Takeda, but no Jackie.
Right.
Now, there's one thing I actually want to draw attention to, because I was going to say this earlier about... Well, I won't say it. Let me see. Can you figure out what there is that's missing in this picture?
Shang Tsung.
And?
Scorpion's missing. There's a lot of things missing
from the entire movie. Yeah. Come on, specifically from the trailer.
Oh, I don't know. What do you see that I don't?
Tremor.
Oh, okay. So also, if you notice, the Tremor scenes are not with the rest of the team. I feel like, Tremor's going to be something else, another aspects of the story that's not really related to the King Kano stuff as much.
No, I think it will be related to Kano. But if we remember Tremor's actual lore, he gets annoyed with Kano for leaving him to die, basically. And so he turns on Kano. And I think that could be the case here. Tremor could be working against Kano. He might start off working with Kano, then be betrayed in this movie, and then start working on his own. Or we could just be reading too much into it, and he's actually just been killed by Kenshi, which would be kind of sad, but it's Mortal Kombat.
I saw some people making comments basically listing every character they've seen in the trailer and calling each one of them a jobber. So, I wouldn't be surprised who dies in this movie. I don't, if Jeremy ends up writing that aspect of Tremor into this story, like his whole relationship with Kano, good for you, man. I mean, that'd be awesome. I don't know if we're going to get that level of depth for some of these secondary characters. I'm not saying they're all going to be jobbers, but I do think they're mostly all going to die. So
Well, see, this is actually one thing that I've noticed with the fighting game community as a whole. We've embraced this whole jobber term, and I really think that that's a consequence of the storytelling approach that NRS have taken with the games in comparison to how it used to be in, say, conquest modes and such, right? Especially compared to the old arcade modes, where that's how they would tell the stories, through the biographies and stuff, and through the character endings, etc. But when you get to conquest, then you start to see the whole jobber thing apply. It's like, okay, this person exists, for example, to teach Shujinko or Taven. This person exists to lose to these two. Sure, but they still helped progress the story. The problem was the switch to the storytelling approach in MK9X11, where certain characters, I think Reptile off the top of my head, didn't get a single win, purely because they were bad guys. And that's actually something that concerns me here, which is going to get people saying jobber, jobber, jobber even more now. Because how many good guys do you see in this trailer?
2.
Possibly 3, but considering Tremor's fighting Kenshi, 2 most likely.
Yeah.
Right? So, are the bad guys actually going to kill a single good person?
No. Maybe at the beginning. You know, we might see some significant characters fall during that whole Revenant or zombie stuff. But yeah, I don't think... I mean, you know, maybe Kenshi's best friend, who is a villager who sells apples, is going to die. But yeah, I think you're right. We're not.
But that's my point. There's no heroes to die.
Right. Well, that's the thing. There's no heroes.
I'm just realizing that Cabal
wasteland.
really is reminding me of Casey Jones.
Casey Jones from Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, look at his face. Look at his whole design. Does that not remind you of Casey Jones?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I can see the association. He's got the hockey mask.
Yeah, exactly. Now, see, I'm skipping through the trailer just to see if I can find any Tremor pictures and stuff. But I mean, here I see, well, I think I see Tor, but not. Oh, there's Farah in the front.
Yeah.
I think I see No Face in the back on the top left over there. But other than that, I've not seen Tremor at all aside from that one fight scene, which is a very interesting thing. I really do think we're going to get some of that depth that I've mentioned. I really hope we do. Maybe I'll be completely wrong, but I really, really hope we do. And if we do, as I said, Jeremy seems to really enjoy the lore, and that is something that I'm very curious to see whether or not it shows, whether it shines through, basically. Now, one thing I was curious about was, do you remember when we spoke about the voice, the casting call?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think of the voices from what you've heard?
Oh, I mean, they line up perfectly with what was from the casting call, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. And that's pretty interesting to see this, all this, what is it, a year and a half later. Nobody really spoke about this casting call article, and then all of a sudden, everything's proven completely right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that, there's so much misinformation out there regarding Mortal Kombat that things like this fall under the radar because, there's stories of Mortal Kombat live action movies that are planned out for ages and have all these crazy things to them that aren't going to happen. So, stuff like that people don't notice because it could be fake, and there's a lot of fake stuff out there right now.
Anyway, I think this looks really cool. Kenshi's design is interesting. I feel like most of the designs are true to the characters, aside from Cobra and perhaps Kira. Everybody really looks like who they should be. Kano looks like Kano, but exaggerated cybernetically, which could make sense considering the later sort of involvement of Kano with the Lin Kuei and the Cyber Initiative,
or even with whatever happened to him in Scorpion's Revenge.
Yeah, that too. Actually, that's a good point. Maybe we're forgetting how he died. That could make sense that he didn't actually die or was brought back somehow with a cybernetic heart or something.
Yeah, why don't you pull up a clip real quick? I'm sure that's on YouTube.
Sonya hit him down, I think, and then Jax steps on his face, basically crushing his head.
Oh. Okay. Well.
And that injury doesn't seem at all in line with with how he looks in this movie. So
Right.
we were wrong there.
All right. Well, I guess now we know. I mean, and that doesn't even mean he's dead. As we talked about with Jeremy, he could have still been alive after that happened. And as he said, this is Mortal Kombat. Nobody
True.
stays dead forever. So.
Yes, I forgot about that part in our conversation with him. We were asking if he was dead or something, and he said, well, no. All right, well, I think we've analyzed everything we possibly can here. I mean, if we've missed anything, it's most likely that possible Quan Chi thing, but I'm pretty sure the person who said Quan Chi might have been mistaking it with No Face.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm really happy about the change in art style. It actually seems to fit the aesthetic of Mortal Kombat a lot more, in my opinion.
I miss the old one, honestly.
The setting itself. Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I liked what they were doing. I like that DC animation style for these movies.
It didn't feel DC to me. That's the weird part for me. When you say that, I'm like, but it doesn't look anything like the other DC animations.
I mean, have you watched like the new DC animated movies, like Death of Superman and like the new Batman Red Hood movies and stuff like that?
Yeah, the animation's a lot cleaner. The body proportions are a lot more slender, I suppose. Like more proportional. In Legends, all the bodies seem to be very boxy. It's just an art style. It's not a bad thing. It's just it's not my favorite thing, and I that's what I think is different from DC's, or rather, DC's animations. You know, like the Batman movies, etc. They all feel like look at Nightwing. To me, most of the characters look like Nightwing when I think of DC animations. Like they're slender, the body proportions are fit, the limbs are longer than you would see in the Mortal Kombat animations, where everybody is looking like, let's just say, Sub-Zero being extremely chunky. All right, cool. Well, this was a lot longer of an analysis than I actually expected. This trailer gave us quite a bit of meat. I'm happy that we got this. I'm just surprised that it came out of absolutely nowhere. You know, like no hints, nothing. But hey, we got it, and I'm not complaining about that. With that being said, I'm curious to hear what everybody else thought of this. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening to us discuss the trailer itself on this Tarkatan Bitesized episode. But let us know, what did you think of this Snowblind trailer? Are you happy with the roster of the characters involved? Are you surprised at any inclusions like we were, for example, with No Face, Aaron Black, Ferrator? Were you expecting this direction for the story of this movie? And one thing I'm curious about as well is, what do you think of the character designs? Do you analyze them as much as me? Do you care less than I do and more in line with what FANTiM thinks? Let us know. Be sure to check out our next episode of the Realm Kast, where we talk with notable members of the Mortal Kombat community.